Okay, in this lesson we're going to look at factorizing. So factorizing is the opposite to expanding. So when we were having expansion, so we would have something like this, and we knew this meant we times out everything inside the bracket. So we ended up with 3x plus 9, like that. So this over here is factorized form, and this over here is expanded form. So what we're going to do in this topic is we're going to go from this back to expanded back to factorize. And to do that, what we need to do is first find the highest common factors of our two terms. So if you think about it, a factor is a multiple. So if you had say the number 12, all numbers that you can multiply to get to 12 are factors. So say 1, because 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. Because if you look, you can do 1 times 12 is 12. You could do 3 times 4 is 12. And you could do 2 times 6 is 12. So these here are the factors of 12. So when we have two terms, we want to find the highest common one between the two of them. And that's the first step in factorizing. So we're going to practice that first here. So we'll have a look. So if we just wrote out the factors of 4, so things I can multiply to get 4, and it's 1, 2, and 4. And if you think about factors of 6, is 1, 2, 3, and 6. So if we look here, what's common is the 2. So, and because there's actually no other one, this is the highest common factor. So we often abbreviate common factor with HCF. All right, so let's have a look at these other numbers. If we have 6, so we already know factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6. Factors of 9 could be 1, 3, and 9. So once again, there's only one factor that's common, so it's going to be the highest one. So the highest common factor equals 3 here. This one was 2. Okay, now let's have a look at this last one. So factors of 12. That could be 1, 2, we did them up there, so 3, 4, 6, and 12. Now we're going to think of factors of 18. Could be 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, and 18. Okay, so if we look at which ones are common, we have common 2, and we have 3 is common in both, and we also have 6 is common in both. So which is the highest, the largest common factor? That is 6. So the highest common factor for these two numbers is 6. Now we need to know the highest common factor because we're going to use them to finish off our factorizing. So we actually take that highest common factor outside and put the rest back. We'll have a look at that now in our next questions. All right, now we can have highest common factors. Factors can be letters or pronumerals as well. So let's have a look. If we think of things that we times together to get this, we had 2, G, and H. And in this one, we've got factors of 6, which could be 1, 2, 3, and 6. And G is also in there, so we'll put G in there. So what's common in these two is we've got a common of a 2. 2 is common, and also G is common in both of them. So what we say here, the highest common factor for this one is actually 2G. Okay, if we go and have a look here, factors of 3 are 1 and 3, and then we also have M and N. Now factors of 6 are 1, 2, 3, and 6, and we've also got an M and a P. So if we think about what we have in common here, we've got both have a 3 and both have an m. So we can say the highest common factor here is 3m. Okay, now that we know how to get the highest common factor, we're going to find of two terms, we're going to find that common factor, and then we're going to finish our factorizing. So first of all, we're going to factorize this expression, we're going to find the highest common factor. So I'll once again go through the factors so we can do that. So we've got 1, 3, and x, and this factors of 6 would be 1, 2, 3, and 6. So first I'm going to identify the highest common factor, which is 3. So the highest common factor with these two terms is 3. So the next step is we're going to rewrite these terms, this term and this term, as a multiple of using our highest common factor. So what I mean by that is I'm going to write this first term as 3 times x. So I've used my highest common factor there. And so we had that, and then we had plus, and I'm going to now write 6 using as a factor. So 6 would be 3 times 2. That's the same as 6. So once you see that, we've written these terms out using our highest common factor. So then the next step is we take the common factor and then we pop it on the outside of the bracket. So because the common factor is 3, I put 3 on. Then I do this bracket, and then I put inside what's left. So I have an x there, the plus, and a 2. Okay, so what I will have left is x plus 2. And now I have factorized it. So just to double check that, if we expanded this out, we should head back to the start, which we would if 3 times x is x and 3 times 2 is 6. So you can see we've got back to the start question. So this is expanded form, and down here is factorized. Okay, so they asked me to factorize, so this is my factorized answer. Alright, so let's go. Now we don't always have to write out the highest common factor, all the factors, and find it. If I just can start looking and think, alright, the highest common factor of these ones is 2. So then what I'm going to do is write them as factors of 2. So 2y could be written as 2 times y, and 4 could be written as 2 times 2. Okay, well, now I'm going to factorize. So what's common? Take this common high factor outside the bracket. So I put that the common factor on the outside, and then inside my brackets I'm going to put what I had left, which was y plus 2. So y plus 2 goes inside the bracket, and here is my factorized answer. Okay, so again with these ones, the first step is I'm going to find the highest common factor, and for this one 3 is common in both of these terms. Okay, so I'm going to write these terms out as a multiple of 3. So 3 times GH plus, now 12 would be like 3 times 4. So the 3 is the highest common factor of those two terms. So I'm going to take it outside the bracket, put a bracket, and then whatever's left is I'll put the rest. So whatever's left there is GH plus 4. Okay, so, and if you need to check your work, you can always just expand it out, and hopefully when you expand it, you end up with what you started with, which is correct here. Okay, but the factorized form is this one. So this is factorized. Okay, let's try the other one. Now, if we think about the highest common factor here, this one both have 2 in it, but they both have y. So we're going to write these two terms as with 2y. Now the first one also has an x, so times x, plus this one would be 2y times 3. That would get me back to 6y. Okay, so I'm going to take out what's common, the highest common factor, which is 2y. I open a bracket and I put what's left, which is x plus 3. So x plus 3 goes inside the bracket like that. So here is our factorized expression.